Like and follow if you love horror. And don't forget to mash that like button as well. Okay. It pressed harder against the glass, thankfully still incapable of penetrating that barrier. You cannot comprehend it. That pleases it. Do you think the fairy tales you've been told about hell are frightening? Your imagination is limited. Once you are a part of it, it consumes your mind. What you are ceases to be, much like the flesh it molded with ceases to be Simon. Not death, but permanently a part of it. Your mind will be inseparable from it, like a boil on the surface of its consciousness, forever screaming. The only thing you will be aware of, all you will be capable of knowing, is that you are forever consumed by it. You cannot comprehend such suffering. Teddy wasn't sure what to do. For the moment he was trapped, just staring at what Simon had become. Even if he looked away, he could still hear it. Theodore. It silently tapped at the glass about the height of Teddy's head. It moves seamlessly through darkness, from one space to the next. It knows it came to this place. The darkness of the depths created a door for it. Fear invited it, beckoned it, showed it the door, and it was glad to come. All you must do is open the door and let it in. Your fear longs to be a part of it. You have unknowingly called for it your whole life. You want this, even as you fear it. That voice is really hard to do. Teddy couldn't fight it, he couldn't sneak past it, and he didn't have another exit except through it. He looked past it and watched Liddy roll over onto her side. The next teddy fish no longer flapped its gills. That meant it was already deriving its oxygen from Liddy. You watch it consume her, like it consumes Simon. It seemed the creature was gloating. Teddy wondered what the rest of the crew was doing, and why the creature hadn't bothered to pursue them. He considered that it found this more amusing. Maybe the crew was barricading themselves in the lounge habitat. He hoped Sarah wouldn't abandon him, or the rest of the crew wouldn't force her to. He wanted to believe that they were better than that, but he knew fear was a funny thing. He knew deep down, in the hardwiring of all people, there was a command to survive. Even Teddy doubted his own capacity to overcome that natural programming. At least they didn't just hop right into the rats and depressurize the bay and lab with Teddy trapped inside. The creature beyond the glass watched him. He knew it could read his thoughts, and likely his fears. He watched Simon change and say things others were only thinking. Teddy's logical mind knew it was pointless to challenge that. If the creature knew what he was thinking, it could predict all of his actions. Instead, he resolved to do the only thing he could: collect data. All right, no point in this endless staring contest, he said aloud, and wondered if he should even bother. You speak of it like it's something separate from you, but still a part of you. Do you mean the fish, or is that just another part of it? It did not respond at first, but rather splayed its claws against the window. Then came a strange ringing in Teddy's ear. It is not yet, it said. It's not yet? Teddy parroted inaccurately. No, it has not become yet, it corrected Teddy. At that moment, Teddy realized there was a serious language barrier. Whatever words existed in Simon's brain to express it were not very useful. He needed to set a baseline. Okay, so it isn't here yet, he tried again. It is here, but it has not expressed itself, it replied. How is it going to express itself, he asked. It has not chosen a form yet, it explained. If you are not it, what are you? He knew he had to probe deeper. He hoped to learn what it was and maybe find a way to reason with it. I am its eyes. The creature pressed harder against the glass. It has many eyes, but could not see this place. It needed eyes to see you, so it made your fish. You helped it, though you did not know it. You spent many hours with it, helping it understand. The darkness is a door. He repeated the information the creature gave him earlier. When I was on specimen collection duty, was I near the door? Yes, Theodore. The creature turned towards CDS-12. One hand still placed on the glass, the other reaching out for the sub. It heard you. It learned from you. You entered the door looking for fish, but it waited a long time looking for you. So, it gave you the fish to understand you, to understand what you are, to give it eyes to see you, so that you might see it. It made the teddy fish, he realized. The damn anglers were an expression of the function they were supposed to serve. Whatever it was only knew it was in the darkness, what it called the door. That meant its understanding of function was through isopods, tube worms, snailfish, cephalopods, and the deep-sea angler. It knew what a lure was because the anglerfish showed it that trait and taught it its function. You wanted a fish, and it wanted you. The creature turned back to Teddy and pressed against the glass again. Simple organisms following simple functions. The teddy fish needed to fulfill their function. It just changed that function slightly. They don't deliver DNA to a mate, they deliver its influence. He nodded, feeling a bit like a rube. They are a conduit, it explained. Right, he began again slowly. Now that it has you and Liddy, what does it need us for? You said it wants to consume us. Are we food? No. The creature almost sounded annoyed, although tone of voice was likely a foreign concept to it. It wants to exist. It must. You called it. If you're its eyes, doesn't it technically already exist? Teddy hoped there was an avenue he needed to to get it to stop doing whatever it was doing. It has you and Liddy now. It doesn't need the rest of the crew. No. It needs all of you. The creature inadvertently confessed that it had no intention of letting a single crew member go. It has no form and needs all of you to truly exist. For what? Teddy probed deeper. Does it need a nose and ears or some kind of other sensory organ I'm not familiar with? No, it repeated itself. It needs all of you to exist, to be complete. What difference do 5 other people make? You have to be able to let some of us go. Hell, even just one of us. Bargaining again? The creature gave the impression it was mocking Teddy. Not 5. All of you. All of us? All humans? Teddy didn't like where this was going. All of you, it agreed. Why does it need over 7